Hello students, welcome back to Learning Marathon, and this is our free dedicated series on UPSC prelims trend analysis. And how gonna we analyze its trend? By taking consideration of the previous year question papers, and moreover it's going to be a subject wise analysis of past 5 years, so you can well understand about the subject. You can anticipate what type of question the UPSC can frame and how to answer it. So moreover, when you understand the subject, you can ace the exam with ease. So let's start our session, and before that, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon, and let's start with the session. And see, this is the UPSC prelims trend analysis. Let me take up the pen. Okay, see, if you take the breakdown, this is the breakdown as an average of past 5 years question paper. See, when you take last 5 years question paper, and if you take on an average, see, almost 18% every year do come from history, 8% from geography, and 21% from polity, and 18% from economy and environment and ecology, 15%, and it's a latest trend where the environment and ecology part is going on much on a tougher line. So science and technology 8%, policy, schemes and India yearbook, everything accounts for 8% of the question, and IR for 4%. So if you take history, geography, polity and economy, on an average every year almost 60% of the questions do come from these subjects. See, when I say this statement to the students think I have to concentrate only on these 4 subjects and I will finish it and I will clear the exam. No, that's a poor strategy. See, always keep this thing in your mind. Even if you do PhD in one particular subject, for say example history, you cannot answer all the questions from history. There are certain questions in history. If you take 18 questions, almost 4 to 6 questions will be on a most tough questions. No man on this planet could have attended in the examination hall. So it doesn't matter how much you go deep in history or how many books you read. See, it's not possible to cover all the standard books also. Even if you cover all the standard books, you cannot able to answer those questions. So it is always recommendable to have the idea, like if it is an easy question, definitely you should attend it. If it is a medium level question, you should attend it with some educated guess over it. So your what can I say, your content should be on a much more diverse line, so that you can attend the medium level questions. On a tough question, UPSC checks whether you are much intelligent to leave that question, because there are negative marks in UPSC prelims, remember that. So you should not attend much more tricky or very tough questions, because it's not going to be tough only for you, it's going to be tough for everybody. So you should always concentrate on easy and medium level questions, and concentrating more on medium level questions will make you clear the cutoff. So that is very much needed. So my first tip for you is to be a generalist. You should be much more generalist. You should not be a specialist. You should not take up only these subjects and master it, leaving all the other subjects. No, that's not the right strategy. You should study all the subjects, because you don't know, tomorrow there may be a very easy questions from science and technology and environment and ecology. If you don't concentrate on that, you are most inclined to leave that questions. So don't do that. And my second tip for you is current affairs. See, I saw certain institutes are releasing even their answer keys in such a way, like they categorize current affairs, saying these are 33% of the questions, 33 or 40% of the questions do come from current affairs, and they will separate other history, geography, polity and economy. This is a very wrong approach. As per me, this is very wrong, because see, if you take current affairs, it is not only related with policies, it's not only related with India yearbook, it's not only related to international relations or science and technology or environment and ecology. Rather, every subject has its own dimension of static as well as dynamic. So you should concentrate on both. See, let me put you in perspective very clear by using 2018 paper. See, if you take 2018 paper, let's come to history. There is one question under art and culture. What it is? It is Buland Darwaza question. If you take that question, it is a direct question which was asked from the Hindu editorial. So it is a current affairs inspired question. So you should understand this. So you should also have, you should also understand that current affairs do come in history. So if you take geography for that matter, the places in the news, that was the question asked in 2018, 2017, even in 2019. So these type of questions do come from current affairs, that too in geography section. If you take economy, more than 50% of the questions are either direct current affairs question or current affairs inspired. What is current affairs inspired? They will take up one terminology which was in news and they will ask what is the meaning of it, or they will give something and they will ask what is the outcome of this, what is the reason for this, everything. Okay, so always have in your mind, see, these are the subjects starting from history till international relations, and every subject will have its own dynamic portions also, that is newspaper. You should be able to link these both things. By that, if you do link everything and if you read, your job is done, because nowadays UPSC is moving more towards dynamism. Keep this in mind. Let's not waste more of our time here. Just this is for your understanding. Let me clear the screen. See, this is the overview. See, you can understand how much importance you should give for each and every subject, and you should try to make a solid strategy for this. Okay, done. Now let's move on with history. We are going to start with modern history and then we will come with the art and culture, ancient, medieval, and let's also understand a little bit about post-independence also. Okay, fine. Let's start up with the number of questions. Questions from history. See, if you take from 2016 till 2019, I have separated for ancient, medieval, modern, post-independence and art and culture. So you can have a solid understanding of each and everything. See, in which year how many questions are from this particular subtopics. These are the subtopics under history. So see, for example, I will give you a glance. If just imagine you are in 2018, you saw there are 12 questions from modern history and there were 6 questions from art and culture and a very mere number of questions, like only one question. If you take the past year also, there are only 2 questions, and if that's the thing you have in your mind and you think for 2019, you can eliminate ancient and medieval and you can focus more on modern history and art and culture so that you can ace history. That will be a poor strategy. Yes, why am I saying this is, see, always UPSC will change the pattern from one year to other year because it should not remain constant, right? Yes, so it has just halved the number of questions from modern history, rather increased 8 questions, 1 to 8 questions in 2019, and there are only two questions in art and culture. So this is the level of trend you could see in UPSC. Now let me tell you about 2020. See, after discussing with all our subject matter experts, I just derived their knowledge and I'm just publishing you, okay, with all the relevant stuffs you need. If you take 2019, what we anticipate is, first you should concentrate on modern history. That too as per the demands of UPSC. Why? Because you could see minimum 5 questions and maximum 12 questions. So obviously the number of questions going to be in this lab alone. So first you should complete modern history. So you can, okay, when we discuss about modern history, I'll tell you what is the source and why that particular question has come and all those stuffs. Let's move on with the next. You should study art and culture. See, art and culture nowadays are much more current affairs oriented. So you should try to read the newspapers. If at all there is any editorial related to literature or painting or for that matter songs, dance, you should be able to relate it with your particular static portion. Then only your job will be done, or else you will be left in the ocean. Okay, so you should concentrate on art and culture and we anticipate more than 2 questions because that is the trend in the previous years. So obviously you should do this. And coming to the third part, ancient and medieval. See, in this, though there are 8 questions from 2019, you should always concentrate on few lessons rather on seeing it totally. Okay, so if you take ancient and medieval, first of all you should, if you take ancient, first of all you should complete IVC, that is Indus Valley Civilization. Then you should complete Buddhism. Then you should complete Jainism. After completing these 3 lessons, then you should have, if time permits, you can go on with the remaining lessons also. If you take medieval, you should first concentrate on Vijayanagar Empire, then on Mughals, then on Bhakti and the Sufi movement. And then if time permits, again you can continue with the rest. See, you are preparing for a competitive exam and the time is much limited. So you should be able to prioritize the plan. See, it's okay. Everybody knows that if you complete history, if you complete geography, if you complete economy, and if you complete polity, you can ace the exam. But is that really possible? That is the thing you should understand. Because there are much to learn, okay? So always prioritize it. So learn first modern history, complete it, then move on with art and culture, then complete it, then move on with ancient, medieval, their selected portions, and then if time permits, go on with the rest. Have the revision, proper revision, then practice test series, so that you can give your best in your exam. Or else it will be like you can't able to complete everything and you will go half-hearted to the examination hall, and after completing your exam you will think about your cutoff. That should not be your that should not be your situation. That's it. Okay, let's not waste much of our time here. I've made justice to this tabulation. I've made it very clear how you should prioritize your work and you should read. Then we will move on with the question papers. Okay, see, the question was, consider the following statements about the Charter Act of 1813. So there were three statement question. Okay, it was a three statement question and it's regarding the Charter Act of 1813. Okay, fine. So first of all, as I promised, I will answer three questions. Okay, why this particular question has come, what is the source, and then how to approach this particular question, how, what should be your takeaway for your next exam. So this should be the three questions I will answer you. Okay, first, why this particular question has come. See, those who regularly see or practice the previous year question paper will definitely know that from under modern history, every year they will ask one constitutional reforms question. What is this constitutional reforms? If you take constitutional reforms, just a minute, I will just change the color. There are from 1773 till 1947, what are the constitutional upgradation or what are the statutory upgradation you should see. So you should understand what is the reason for each and every act and what is the salient features of the act starting from 1773 till 1947. If you do that, you can definitely attend one question. Let me also show you the questions from 2016 till 2019. If you take, this is 2016 question. Okay, so here they are asking, just a minute again, I'll just change the color. Okay, they are asking Montague-Chelmsford proposals were related to what? See, those who would have studied about 1919 Act know that Government of India Act 1919 is also called as Montague-Chelmsford proposals. So obviously they know the Montague-Chelmsford proposals were related with the constitutional reforms. The question is done. This is the level of question which was asked in 2016. Okay, and let's move on with 2017. If you go with 2017, I would say this question has a level up compared to 2016, where in 2016 simply they asked, giving that proposal, it belongs to what category, is it a constitutional or educational, like that. It's a constitutional reform. Then now coming on with 2017, they asked what is diarchy, what is the principle of diarchy. So the same thing, those who studied 1919 Act clearly will definitely know what is diarchy. Let me tell you how to read the particular act. See, for example, if you take 1919 Act, you should understand what is the reason for the act. The reason is the British is saying that we are just gonna provide you the responsible government. How they are going to provide the responsible government? As per British, they are going to separate the subjects into two. One is transferred subject and other is the reserved subjects. Reserved subjects are kept with British itself, that is Governor General, and transferred subjects were given to Indians for governing their country. But if you take this as a main topic, it will be like they did not delegate them much power. They have just delegated the superficial powers which are not necessary or which is not sufficient for a responsible government. That's the subject matter of mains. Let's come with the let us focus on prelims focus. Okay, Now, this is the reason for it. So obviously there is a responsible government, and if the subjects are divided, so you should by now, just by reading the reason of 1919 Act, you would have understood that it is for diarchy. They have given the responsible government in a form of diarchy. Now we are asking what is the meaning of diarchy. So if you read all the options, it is option D, where they have mentioned that the subjects are delegated to the provinces into two categories. One is transferred subject, and other is the reserved subjects. Your job is done. Okay, see, if at all you didn't read 1919 Act, and or you are not familiar with diarchy, what you can do? As I said, how to approach. I am answering the second part, how to approach the question. If you did not read that particular content, see, if you take diarchy, the first one is the division of the central legislature into two houses. What it is? It is bicameralism. Obviously, if you have a basic polity understanding, you can say that the legislature was separated into two, that is upper house and the lower house, and that's called as bicameralism. So it cannot be diarchy. Introduction of the double government, that is at the central government and the state government. What it is? It is two-tier system. Now India presently is three-tier system, because we have local bodies also in addition to central and the state. So this also cannot be the answer, because it is two-tier system. Having two set of rulers, one in London, another in Delhi. See, this is a confusing statement for you. If you are not much clear, you would have been struck between C and D, but obviously C cannot be the answer. If you understand, there is no there is no such separation, and there is no such name for that also. So obviously you should go with option D, if at all you didn't read that particular source, but you should never skip these things. Okay, and coming to the 2018, simply they asked, okay, 1935 Act, the residuary powers were given to Governor General. The same thing, I would say, I would reiterate the same thing. If you would have studied 1935 Act, you would have answered it with ease. Okay, now coming to 2019, see, this is much in depth. The question itself has become a three-statement question. Okay, so if I rate this question from easy to medium, I would say is this question as easy to moderate. Why easy? Because the sources, always this type of question will be asked in UPSC, so you should have prepared as per the demands of UPSC. You should have went to that extent of answering this question. Now coming to medium, why medium? Because it is much more in depth. Okay, fine, let's try to answer this question. Before that, okay, I answer the first question, why, and the source. Let me answer the question of source. See, the source will be two things, two basic things. One is Lakshmikant lesson 1, the historical underpinnings, and the second is your spectrum, the constitutional reforms lesson. If you take some governance and other aspects of British, if you take under that unit, you will find this constitutional reforms lesson also. So you should complete these two lessons first of all, so that you can attend one question of UPSC. Okay, so I made why this question has come, what is the source of this question, and let me answer how to approach. See, when I need to explain you how to approach, I should also tell you how to read the particular source. See, sources are available, but how well you read it, that makes a difference. For example, let me tell you, if you study 1813 Act, you have studied, I guess it's not there in Lakshmikant 1813 Act, but it was there in Spectrum. So if you read Spectrum, after reading Spectrum, you should make your own personal notes. Okay, and that note should reflect what I say. First of all, you should tabulate the reason for it. What is the reason of that particular act? If I say what is the reason, see, you should understand about the situation over that time. Okay, one, laissez-faire. What is laissez-faire? It's nothing but a free trade. So there was a laissez-faire going on. Everybody is saying that there should be the equal trading rights. Okay, see, if you take English East India Company, is it a public or private company? It's a private company. So this particular private company was given the monopoly from British to trade with India, that is with East. That's why it is East India. Okay, fine. So this is the thing you should understand. So it is a private company and it was given the sole monopoly to trade with India. So it is making much wealth. So this company and its employees came under the limelight very soon. Okay, so everybody was greedy and everybody needs the right to trade with India. And the second reason is continental system by Napoleon. See, continental system. By continental system, British was not allowed to trade with its European counterparts. So European ports are blocked for British. So this is the two reasons. So every businessman over Britain are lobbying the British Parliament because they are seeking permission to trade with India and they could not succumb the pressure. So finally, by 1813, they broke the monopoly of the East India Company except for tea and China. See, except for trade in tea in India and trade with China, all the other monopoly are broken. Now every British businessman can trade with India. So this is the scenario you should understand. So whenever you say 1813 Act, what you should understand the background is there was a lobbying in the British Parliament which forced the British Parliament to take away the monopoly of the English East India Company, and moreover because of this reason they have come up with the 1813 Act. Now I guess I made it very clear now. So first is reason. So you should understand this reason. Next, the salient features of the act. As I said, just a minute. As I said, the first salient feature is going to be the monopoly was broken. Exception was tea and the trade with China. Now, moreover, the revenues and control of the property of company was given to English East India Company itself for next 20 years. So this is the understanding you should also get. See, monopoly was broken, but still the company controls the revenue as well as the control the property of the company for the next 20 years. Okay, so to understand this better, let me give you a linkage between 1784 and 1813. See, 1784, what it is? It's Pitt's India Act. This Pitt's India Act and 1813 have some linkages. How? See, if you read Lakshmikant, under Pitt's India Act, they would have mentioned that the territories which are controlled by company shall henceforth be called as British possessions. So they are saying that the company territories are now called as British possessions. See, company in the sense it is private company, but private companies territories are now called as British possessions. That is, it was made public. Okay, now this is the statement which was mentioned like this, and it was in 1813 they made it very clear in the act itself. That is, they have given the constitutional recognition, okay, for the same. Now they are saying that henceforth this is British possessions and the crown have the whole sovereignty over it. So company can control it without hurting or without prejudice the sovereignty of the crown. That's it. So this is the brief understanding you should have. Okay, now coming on with the second salient features. What is the second salient features is, for education 1 lakh rupees was given. 1 lakh rupees for education of Indians. So please don't think that British is doing favor to Indians. No, that's not the case. If you take this as a main topic, I would rather say the British need Indians to do some lower end jobs, and they need Indians they need some Indians to be loyal to them. Then only they can rule in India, right? So that's why they have given the education to Indians, so that they can work for the lower end jobs. The middle and higher end jobs are always reserved for British. Remember that. So there is a feature of education also. Let's return back to the prelims itself. Okay, and third is Christian missionaries. Christian missionaries were sent to India and they could convert the interested people to Christians, but the scenario is something different, where they converted a huge number of Indians into Christians. Okay, fine. So if you take the if you take the 1813 Act, I'm just giving you how you should prepare notes. I'm not just explaining that question. I'm just making you realize how you should approach the particular act while reading itself. You should understand what is the reason behind it and what are the salient features, and if at all what is prelims needed and what is mains needed. Okay, fine. So I guess I made justice to this. Let me go on with the question now. Okay, so okay, so the first statement is, it ended the trade monopoly of the East India Company except for trade in tea and trade in China. See, this is an absolutely right statement. No problem with this. Okay, it asserted the sovereignty of the British Crown over the Indian territories held by the company. Obviously, this is also the right statement. As I discussed, both these points come under the unique features. Okay, unique points, number 1. Okay, now the revenue of India were now controlled by British Parliament. See, I said very clearly that the revenue of India are controlled by the company itself, that is English East India Company itself, for next 20 years. And that's the reason why after 1813 the another act was after 20 years. It was in 1833. Again 20 years extension was given. It was in 1853 again. So these are the several things should strike in your mind, because see, sometimes UPSC can ask some points or statements which is not mentioned anywhere in this source. So you should, for that you should try to relate it. For example, if you read 1853 Act under Lakshmikant, there will be one point stating that okay, what is the point is stating that okay, the British shall control the revenue and the control the territories, but the time period is not mentioned. They would have mentioned the statement when you read 1853 Act. The time period is not mentioned, so whenever the British think it can snatch the power, so it was not mentioned. The time period is not mentioned. So that is the thing. So you can understand from this, till 1853 also the company still controls the revenue and the territories. So this is the statement. These are the several sources should strike in your mind so that you can eliminate this option. When third is eliminated, you can eliminate B, C and D, and this is your option. So I have answered why, I have answered how to approach and how to read also, and let me take till the last point, what should be your takeaway. See, what should be your takeaway? If you ask me what should be your takeaway, I will rather say read all the acts from 1773 till 1947. Try to understand what is the reason behind it. What are the unique point about it? What are the linkages between the different acts? See, I would say it is impossible. It is practically impossible to remember so much of stuff without any linkages. You have to organically link everything. Okay, if all these 4 things are done, you are ready with one question. And let's start with the type 2.